Oh, hi there. I'm going to talk about the food in hospitals. Now, there isn't a single person who's ever been in a hospital or knows anything about them that doesn't know that the food is absolutely terrible. I, unfortunately, have been in the mental health department of the hospital, so I understand that the food from there is bad firsthand. Now, like I said in previous videos, I hadn't actually been there that long, but I know enough of it to know that there's something eerily wrong with the food they give you. And I'm going to bring up a point. Okay. They'll serve you things like macaroni and cheese. Fairly common dish among, relatively poor people. It's anyone could get crafty. So you wouldn't think anything of it. Not that they give you any ketchup or anything like that, but the thing is, the Kraft Dinner they give you, it's not exactly Kraft Dinner. It's macaroni and cheese, but it's got an eerie flavor to it. It's like very hard to eat, really. Like they'll give you a big plate of it, and it's absolutely just about inedible. And I know some people actually go into these sort of places so that they can get food, because they're so poor they can't afford food. When I went into hospital, I was of the lower end on the. I wasn't poverty stricken, but I was poor. So not that I needed food, but anyway, this macaroni and cheese I'll use for example is a very cheap food. Now some people will go, well, milk and margarine can be expensive and things like that, and the things that you have to add to macaroni and cheese to make the whole thing work. So they would have had to have used a cheaper macaroni and cheese, although how much cheaper than Kraft Dinner can you get? The thing is, on a widespread scale in a hospital where multiple people are getting Kraft Dinner at once, or macaroni and cheese, milk actually isn't that expensive, and same with margarine. They're all relatively cheap. If you mathematically calculate how many people are going to be eating it, when it expires, and all that other sort of stuff. So why do they give you this macaroni and cheese that's barely edible? And I use that term very strongly, barely edible. It's like matter. That's all it really is. It's disgusting. Answer is simple. They put something in the medicine, in the Kraft Dinner. I don't know what it is, but they put medicine in it. And I don't understand the reasoning behind it, but the thing is, if you turn around and tell them, look, I ain't eating your food because it's disgusting, they'll go, oh, he has an eating disorder. He's performing unhealthy dietary habits. He's got a mental disorder. They'll use that against you. So in a way, that's manipulating you. They've presented you with the only food you can get is being just about edible. And when you turn around and say that you don't want to eat it because it's disgusting, they'll use that as an excuse to write up in their papers that, that you're bulimic or whatever they want to say about you, to demonize you, that's a strike against you. So you got two options. You either eat their garbage food, or you don't eat it and look like you have an eating disorder, which would be considered mentally unhealthy. Those are two pretty lousy choices. When I went in there, I ate just the bare minimum because I didn't want to eat the food. I didn't want them to think I had an eating disorder because I don't have one. Like, I like food. I don't overindulge or anything like that, but I do like food. I don't trust them not to put stuff in it. And by the way it tasted, I know they put stuff in it. Not that that matters. They've got chemical compounds and that kind of junk today that you wouldn't be able to tell there was anything in it. And this is their way of letting you know that they put stuff in it. A lot of people don't know that, especially the people who go in there and have never been in a hospital before in their life. They don't know what to make of it. They're confused, they're lost, and I hope to guide them along their way. Now, I understand that you're not really supposed to do that. Not really supposed to inform people about certain things. That's for the professionals. But I got a news for you. The professionals are assholes. So, I'm going to tell people. What are you going to do to stop me? Going to say a whole bunch of horrible things about me that aren't true? Well, you go on ahead. They ain't true, and you're going to look like the liars in the end anyway. And you know what? Because I don't have to do underhanded, dirty, sleazy tricks to get my way. I can be perfectly honest because I actually have a brain. I didn't read up all this junk in a book that was written by some asshole 20 years ago. I'm able to figure out problems and get around them and use my vocabulary and my verbal skills to properly explain my point of view without resorting to dirty little tactics. I'm not afraid of you either. You know I'm right. Some people, however, have an understanding of the world, as I've said in previous videos, it's twisted, perverted, and they ain't gonna like what I have to say because everything that they've stood for and everything they've done will be proven wrong. And I can see a pseudo-intellectual getting upset. Butthurt, I believe they call it. What's the matter? Don't like that a drunken 30-year-old who has no education beyond high school has just outsmarted you and only had to deal with a pinch of your bullshit? Because realistically, that's all I've ever had to do. I mean, I've been on medicine for 6 years. I went in the hospital for 5 weeks. And I've had a sore throat brought on upon by the medicine. But now that most of that's all said and done, and it will be all said and done at one point, I barely got a scratch on me, buddy. I'm still the same guy I was 6 years ago. Your tactics, your psychology, your medicine didn't work. And I can prove it. Well, it worked a little bit. I do feel a little more, I guess, pacified, because I was a little bit loud and obnoxious before I went into hospital. I'm a little bit less so. That could just be because I've matured a little bit anyway, which would have naturally happened anyway. The thing is, another little thing they don't like to tell you, and you can read it up on the internet, and it'll immediately revert to Nazism and the fluoride they used on POWs and things like that. But the thing is, the medicine they give you now is, if it's not a derivative of fluoride, it was inspired by it. So, yeah, something that was inherently evil is being used in modern science by people in white coats. And people need to know that people in white coats can't be trusted. They work for the big pharma, capitalist interests. Sure, they're not bad people in certain ways, but in other ways, they have to follow the chain of command. And if you've ever spent any time in the military or you understand anything about anything, you will know that the chain of command will do things for asshole reasons. Reasons that they don't have to explain because they're authoritarian. Reasons they wouldn't want to explain because if they did, they wouldn't actually look that intelligent. They'd just look like assholes. A structured society will collapse if certain information is brought upon. How do I know this? Because I've presented myself as a voice piece for the public. Well, that's what I aspire to be anyway. You know, I'm just talking here, okay? I've learned certain things. I've interpreted information differently than other people. I watch the media, the propaganda they got on the internet. And as I may or may not have said, I get a little lost sometimes. A picture of, let's say, Mao Zedong, for example. That's not propaganda because it doesn't have any context. It doesn't mean anything. Propaganda is to manipulate the mind into believing what you want them to believe. And for them to do as you tell them to do. And for them, it doesn't matter how they do it, just so long as you do what they tell you to do. But if you understand why they say things in a certain way, why they behave in a certain way, then their propaganda, their mind control doesn't work on you anymore. because you understand what they want to do, how they're going to do it, and the fact that they're not decent people anyway. Or if they are, they still do bad things. So, do we live in a democracy? Yes, no. Depends. Depends on what your position in society is, whether you can make decisions or not. But if you're, just some peon, you don't make no decisions, your vote counts for nothing, and you don't really have a say. It's not a democracy for you. It's a democracy for the guy who knows more about the world than you do. Like the asshole at the top of the pyramid. Not just in the mental health system, not just in the military, not just in the business world, not just in the government world, not just in the media world, but there's an asshole that's the biggest asshole in the world, all of those combined. Knows just enough about him. It doesn't make him smarter, it makes him more informed. He's not more capable of making decisions than anyone else. In fact, they probably don't make decisions that nobody else makes. They probably have those decisions made for them or advised for them to make them, and then they pick the easy answer. They do that. Because, face it, humans as a species we're not that intelligent. We're not nearly as smart as we like to think we are. We're getting smarter, but there's still some problems. And it was inevitable that a guy like me was going to come around and start talking about white supremacy again. And then get away with it, too. I'm sorry, you can't get rid of us that easily. I mean, you tried to. I saw you try. I was there. I saw what you did with DC Comics. I don't like it. You know how you got a Chinese guy gonna play the Hulk the next time? Woman gonna play Thor and all sorts of stuff. Okay, you do that, you poor little babies. You coddle to the minorities, the intellectually inferiors. But as it has always been, it is crotchety old white men who run the world, or the parts that are important anyway. And I got no problem with inviting women into the party, but it's just there's certain things they can't do. Not allowed to do that. I don't care if you don't like it. I don't care if you think it's in our best interest. You're not allowed to do that. So, I'm having a bit of a brain fart here. I'm just reviewing some ideas that I've thought about for a long time. And look, I only say just enough on YouTube or whatever to get my point across, because I don't know exactly who watches my YouTube channel or anything like that. I'm definitely not mainstream, but I'm just questioning how big I am in the underworld. Because a lot of people in the underworld think I'm an ass. They think I'm annoying because I make them do things to better my situation. And they are the dinks in the white coats. They are the jerks in the blue shirts. And gonna keep working on my YouTube channel. I got lots and lots of ideas. I'm a one-man show. I don't need to be part of some damn forum to make interesting videos. I don't need to have a thread of yes men telling me that I'm great and I'm this and I'm that. I can handle hurdles. I can handle being constructively criticized and all that. It would be nicer so that I could present my ideas a little bit more clearly, get better bearings on where I'm coming from the perspective of other people. But I don't actually need it. I have enough intellectual stimulation that I can produce new content all the time without any interference. And if CSIS is tracking my internet transactions on what music I listen to, what video content I watch, and it doesn't have to be CSIS. I just use the name CSIS because I can't think of a name to call them. It could just be some YouTube trolls. It probably is in all likelihood. The thing is, you're not going to find anything. Because I listened to Hilary Duff, Poets of the, what is it, Poets of the Dead or Poets of the Fall, whatever, something like that. A little bit of AC/DC, Airborne. I don't listen to Britney Spears, but I'll tell people that I do. I don't know. I just don't really listen to Britney Spears. It isn't anything weird. It's just, whatever. Anyway, so from my digital footprint, people who want to pin things on me and accuse me of things that aren't me aren't going to find anything. So, sorry to be a pain. Sorry to question your authority. Sorry to not agree with mainstream society and everything that's fucked up about it. And I understand that a lot of you are trying to do good, you're trying to do your best. I'm just here to tell you, your best ain't good enough. You've been inadequate. You've been damn derelict in your duties. And it takes a guy like me to point these things out. Sometimes people accuse me of not having any of my own ideas. That isn't true. I enhance and improve upon other people's ideas. So, I ain't the first one who's going to go on the fire, but I'm the one who's not going to get burnt when he goes in there. As I said, it was inevitable for a guy like me to show up. And, we'll see. We're going to make things change here. I'm going to help. I'm a very reasonable person. It's just there's some certain things that I'm not going to bend on. And I understand my weaknesses. I ain't been with a woman in a long time, so it'll be very difficult to talk to them about certain things. And there are certain things that I'm a bit more knowledgeable about, which I wouldn't have a problem talking to them about, but the thing is, if I do, then they're going to get the wrong idea about me, and that's just not going to be good. I believe in childhood education, things like that, but I don't want them to get the wrong idea about me. Like it's going to be like a no-go subject for like a long time. Yeah. Anyway, look, yeah. There's certain aspects. I'm not perfect. I do have weaknesses. I'm aware of those weaknesses and I know how to fix them, but I lack the resources to, as of now. Yes. My latest video only has one view. One stinking view. Or does it have 1 million views? What if it's just telling me I only have one view? Well, you know what? I don't care either way. At least one person saw it. Anyway, yeah. Talk to you guys more later. Have a good one.